LED. I mean, a light-emitting diode. That is what an LED stands for, light-emitting diode, which means it produces light sources. And that is, just because you call it a laser, doesn't mean that LED isn't capable of creating a laser. It emits light. It has different built-in settings and components into it that create those frequency ranges and can also create different wavelengths of the color spectrum. And that's why a lot of people say they see their LEDs turn different colors, especially if they're color changing capabilities, or if they have dimming light switches that are built into it. Some LEDs are motion capturing equipment.
Wow. Well, my perp actually had, and I saw it, there's a gun that looked like it was from Buck Rogers. It was a long barrel. It didn't look like it had a trigger on it. I was looking at it, and I thought this is some kind of toy, right, because it's plastic. And he also had another one that he said was printed. You know, it was pink. And that one also did not have a trigger mechanism. And he told me they were both guns, and he uses them to shoot me with. You know, so I think that those were energy weapons, and he was using those at one time, you know, to hit me from, you know, wherever he was. And
now, here's the difference between people's ideas, okay? A directed energy weapon is anything that creates a beam, signal, wave, pulse, and or acoustic attacks. That's a directed energy directed at a single person. So anything can become a weapon system. Directed energy weapons isn't just like a high altitude, high energy laser system beaming from the sky and satellite systems.
Right.
It could be anything from a sensor to a chip to a computer to even a cell phone. All it does is matter on the frequency switching components that are built inside, along with the conversion from changing it from an alternate current to a direct current. And using those light bulbs or camera systems as a source to extract that beam and direct it at a person, physical body, or that target.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how it worked, because when he told me what it was, I just thought he was crazy. You know? I don't know why I just didn't believe him. Why I didn't ask more questions. I could kick myself now, you know. But yeah, he had
he's still alive?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen him periodically. I just saw him, I think it was a couple weeks ago. It's hard to tell when he drives by now because my eyes are bad, and they always have their windows tinted. He used to drive by with the windows down so I could see him, you know, so I knew it was him. But now when he drives by, it's like, oh, I think that's him. It kind of looks like him, but it could be, you know, somebody else that has similar build, you know. I have to really try to pay attention to the height, but it's really hard when I'm sitting on my porch, you know, trying to figure out how tall this person is, because he's short. So sometimes I think I do see him, you know, driving past once in a while. In fact, he was just here in the house yesterday, the day before. because I'm his 8th victim, he'll take the 8th ring off his curtain and let it hang to kind of let me know that he was here. So that just happened. I haven't taken a picture of it yet.
Okay. I mean, that's symbolic. So he was attacking you, or he blamed you for attacking him?
No, he was attacking me, and he was attacking my friend, too. But I had no idea at that time what was going on, you know. And I thought Joel, you know, because he had brain cancer, that he was hallucinating a little bit. Well, you know, it didn't take him, and he got sick, and he stayed sick for a long time, and then he got to the point where he couldn't move anymore. And
sometimes hallucinogens open up like a third eye capability in order you to see light forms easier. That's why so many people see in colors when they're on psychedelic drugs. I'm not saying that he took drugs like shrooms or acid or LSD or anything like that. I'm just saying even medication has those cognitive function behaviors to where they could see light sources. Even some of my clients have said that they've been able to see the physical beam come down from the sky. And that could be due from medication because it opens up a lot of neurons inside of the brain to where your body could physically almost see like a 3D matrix almost, and you see different forms of light sources that can, with projections, that's why they say they cause hallucinations. Right. Well, he had the brain. But in reality, it's not. No, I don't think so anymore. When he told me that, I thought, okay. Well, it was a little while later, I was talking to my neighbor, and he said he could see, like, Star Wars happening on my garage. He was actually watching beams hitting my garage. Now, 2 people cannot see the same doggone thing, right? If they're hallucinating. And I just kind of thought, okay, you know, I don't know what that could be. You know, I was trying to think in practical terms. It was somehow coming from the street light or something like that that's in the alley. I don't know. I was trying to make sense of it, but of course I couldn't. And now I know what it is. But back then I had no idea. So Joe was not lying. He saw what he saw. And there were times when I was in the yard and I thought I saw something just whooshed right past me, you know? And I'm like, what did I just see? But it happened so fast, you know, I thought I was just kind of seeing things. But I don't think I was, you know, because I was over by the garage. And that's where he would aim at all the time, my perp. So if he was in that backyard, a couple houses away from me, he could just stick that little nozzle right through the fence line and hit us. So we can't see anything over there because it's a wooden. As long as he has a direct line of sight. Right. I mean, lasers do bounce, beams do bounce, they do reflect, and they do reflect and refract basically off of light sources or glass or other different forms of materials. But usually, if they're adding that green laser, that's where the musical fluctuations come into play, because then you can bend that light source with the music. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. They call it optical momentum, angular optical momentum, optical OAM, optical angular momentum. Okay. But that has to do through light sources.
I saw that happen at my church before. And I was like trying to figure out how come the sunlight is coming in from two different windows on either side. You know, it's kind of bluish and it's going towards the altar. It would have to bend around, you know, and just go straight. You know, it was hitting the music ministry, it was hitting the priest, because he was on the other side of the music ministry. And I'm like, what is this? I'm like, I don't think that this is God, you know, because it just doesn't seem right. But, I saw that several times in my church. And that was way before I knew, you know, what was going on. Now I know what it is. And yeah, they do bend it, you know, because it just went like right around, you know, the altar, because the altar was kind of back, you know, and there were walls on the, you know, either side of it. So yeah, I saw that. I actually saw that, Amy. I don't think I said anything to anybody else, you know, about it. I just, I was like, okay, what is this? You know, just kind of forgot about it and just went on praising the Lord.
Right. Well, let's continue at least with this section, finish up this section. I do have my physical therapy appointment at 2, so I can't extend it too long today. I apologize for that. But at least let's finish up this section for you, the 45 to 1 minute location marker. Unless you wanted to skip to the end.
Let's do this part and see what we come up with. If I don't remember what happened at the end of that, so I don't know. You're getting a lot of stuff, you know. So
okay. They said green attack, so green might be the laser weapon.
Okay.
They said reel of the orial. Real orial videos. So they might be looking for a reel or a specific image from that orial weapon system that they were using. There is a military base inside of Michigan that does work with orial weapon systems.
Oh, okay.
They said move the arms up. They said wrist angle. They said pump the tail system. They said making injuries. They said air raid support. That might have to be with the missile air raid support system, the aerial units. Remember in one of the recordings, I think the other recording, we caught that Tails window program.
Yeah.
That is used for the aerial units. So I think that might have to relate to that statement, pump the tail system.
Okay.
They said Lisa is in technical support group. So that could be a department that they're in inside of the network. Lisa might be the name of an employee. They made a statement, such a loser, you're such a loser. They said, check the light post. They said, murder offices. That's through company order. They made a statement of up in visual. They said public order up. They say witness proclaimer. So they may put people to be false witnesses.
Oh, okay.
They said aerial patrols the Army. So any of the aerial equipment that's being used, that's probably through Army contracts. And they said air raid controls the connection. That's kind of good networking information on how they connect their aerial units, their aerial support system, and what system controls what connection.
Oh, okay.
So if they're using airplanes on you, aerial units, they're using an air raid support system that has controls of the connections for the military. They said pull angel signals up.
To my cat again.
Yeah. Well, I know they mentioned angel prior,
Yeah.
but they didn't directly connecting or attacking your cat at this time, so they're probably just going to hook the cat up now because they don't have them available, because they said pull angel signals up.
Okay.
But remember, an angel is also an aerial unit too.
Okay.
It is like a military jet. So if we were finding information on missiles and predators, so that might not relate to your cat here.
Okay.
And the orial weapon system, because it seems like we're more in military grade weapon systems now.
Okay.
And I didn't find any relations to your physical cat other than the name.
Right.
Like I did in the other aisle. Like they were talking about your cat perch. They were talking about specific things like poop, your cat's poop.
Right.
That would relate your cat. Here, I'm not so much sure if this has to relate to your cat or not. But if it is, they didn't have your cat signals up or available for people, so which means they weren't attacking your animal at all.
Okay.
They said Congress, hotel rooms. They have a black diamond. So that has to go with their servers connections. Remember they said that they have a back door or a backup?
Yeah.
That's like a diamond backup. That probably has to lead to Congress and the different capabilities that they have for the children specifically. Probably for their trafficking operations. Here they talked about the diamond, and now they're talking about a black diamond in hotel rooms.
Oh my gosh.
They said make the Bridgeport. That has to deal with IT and technology. There's a difference between a hub, a switch, and a bridge.
Okay.
So here they're talking about a bridge for a specific port that's being used. Now I know there was talking about a boat, but in this, I think it has to deal with for a port, like possibly for Wi-Fi or like a router or some form of connection that has to do specifically with IT.
Okay.
Because once again, they were talking about that spaceport, circles up in spaceports, right?
Yeah.
So checking the connections, the radio frequencies, they got the circles up now. So I wonder if that might correlate to that spaceport they were talking about. Okay.
Okay.
They said green lasers up. They have 3.5 circles. They said China injury. And then they talked about vaccine injuries. So they probably have support specifically for the vaccine injuries.
Okay. Would that be related to me or somebody here? Well, Jeff wasn't here that day, so.
Remember that guy that said, what's your poison? And he's like, I like harder stuff. I think that has to go with that conversation and telling them what type of systems they have, what they have access to. I think that can all correlate to network information on who they're connecting to, what they have access to, different capabilities, and who they're selling their products to.
Oh, okay.
They said rainbow technical up. Rainbow could be rainbow equipment. They have different forms of rainbow technology systems, different forms of user manuals. They have cyber tools called the rainbow. They have all sorts of different things. Rainbow could refer to DEI and transhumanism and LGBTQ services. So rainbow has a different phenomenon or statement, but here with that statement, they specifically said technical up, which means it's some type of form of software or equipment. So I'm thinking that might be type of cybersecurity software that they're referring to. They made a statement, Kathy Smetters. They said that's my connection. So somebody might have got an invite from somebody. And Kathy Smetters invited that person into that room.
Okay.
There is if we analyze the raw side too, there's probably more communications on the matter of fact, I know there's more. But
Right.
I focus on the SAF side because it gives me more networking information. So we're probably missing conversations on the raw side that might relate. Because
Right.
once again, depending on what frequency range they're transmitting on and they're using, determines the subcarrier communication side and what is picked up and identified inside that recording.
Okay.
They made a statement connection over. And that is roughly what I could find within the 45 to the 1 minute marker.
Okay.
So, did you have any questions about that section at all?
No.
Okay.